Well, Dr. Peter Olumuji joins us here. He's the Secretary of the Control and Command Center in FCTA here. We're joined by Professor Owedo Dofia, who is a Chief Consultant Psychiatrist. He's a Professor of Psychiatry, College of Medicine, University of Calabar. He's also the past President, Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for coming on today on the program.
Good morning.
Dr. Peter, let me ask you, how did your team, because you were there as well, how did you get to notice that this was going on?
That unfortunate incident of yesterday, I was within the premises for another interview. Immediately I stepped out. They rushed and told me that, there's a young man going up the mast that is very, very high, over 180 meters high. And when I got that information, I had to quickly put a call through all the emergencies response team, the FEMA, which is for FCT, the fire service, the police, the DSS. And the response time was very, very swift. They responded on time, even though we spent over 3-4 hours before we could persuade this good Nigerian to come down from that.
When did he climb?
He climbed at about around 9:30. Around 9:30, because when I came out to 10, and I saw him at almost half of the mast while he was still going on, and we were trying to talk to him, but he was just going up, But again, we now saw that he had this note he dropped at the base of the mast. So we went there to study it, and we realized that, if something is not done, this guy could jump down from that height.
Mr. Olumuji, I want to be able to get your thoughts on, at least to get what the rules are.
Yes.
This mast is critical FCT infrastructure.
That's true.
From what we know, according to the law, the NSCDC is supposed to be manning these infrastructure.
That's true.
What happened to this mast? Was no one manning it at the time when he climbed it?
Well, we have the security agencies, the NSCDC personnel around, but he gained access into the premises, claiming he's going for an interview, which nobody suspected that he was going for something else. So he was up there when they got to know.
That's my issue.
Yes.
He was able to enter into ASO Radio. If you're entering ASO Radio, they will stop you.
They will stop you and
search your car.
That's true.
And then this mast, is he at the base of this hill or at the top of the hill?
At the top of the hill.
Which means that you have to park your car in front of ASO Radio and then climb the hill.
That's true.
That means this mast is near that place where the center of Nigeria is.
That's true.
Now, the security around the mast is what my issue is. Yes. If someone can bypass all of that, say he's going for an interview, he didn't enter into ASO Radio, he climbed up that very steep hill to the top where there are people there. I know that there are security officers around that place. My issue is, and what I'm trying to find out from you is there any kind of accountability on how this person was able to climb up this infrastructure? If someone can climb it up and try to commit suicide, someone can climb it up and try to steal.
That's true.
So what kind of investigations are you going to do into the lapses that led to this incident?
Yes, right now there's an active investigation that has been opened to unravel what happened. How did this gentleman got access to that mast and climbed down without nobody noticing him? All the security personnel on duty are also being interviewed on that.
Well, Professor Dofia, let me come to you because, this matter, there are different thoughts going through different people when they see this. But you're in psychiatry, and we heard one of the officials for the emergency agencies there saying he's not well learned or knowledgeable, but he had a clearly written note there. He seemed legible. He seemed to know what he was doing. How do you relate to this kind of scenario?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a bit difficult from a distance to decide what is happening. I'm sure the question you're asking is he mentally ill or not?
Yeah.
If that's the question, it's going to be impossible for anybody staying so far away to decide whether he is mentally ill or not. Like you mentioned earlier, like it was mentioned, he did all the things the right way to be done. He deceived the security officials and went all the way up there. So we don't know whether he's mentally ill or not. I've not been able to look at what was written down in the note. Maybe if I had a chance to look at the note, I would be able to say whether there's anything indicating mental illness in the note.
Okay, if we just read out some of the things that he put up.
That would be good.
So let's put it up on the screen. The heading was, "It's long enough."
Yes.
And they had different lines there. Long enough for government to stand by and do nothing while Boko Haram, bandits, and kidnappers are killing people in the country every day. Long enough for citizens to continue suffering from hunger. Long enough for inflation rate to continue soaring. Long enough for a number of out-of-school children to go on. Long enough for him to keep quiet. And then he had more notes beneath it asking government to return fuel subsidy. And then he signed it off. Justice for the masses, struggle for freedom.
Yeah, there's nothing in what I read that is indicative of mental illness. I mean, the guy lives in Nigeria. The things he has written down are things many Nigerians would talk about. So in the note itself, we don't see anything indicative of mental illness. Maybe talking with him, looking to his past life and things like that may help. But based on what I've heard from the narrative and the things he has written down in the note, no psychiatrist would judge that he has mental illness.
So can we then say that for the officials who did say there that he's not knowledgeable, he's not well learned, I'm not sure of the context that they were trying to pass across, because from what people have seen, for you who's a professional, you say it's difficult from a distance. So I'm not sure they even clinically examined him that fast to come to that narrative or that submission.
No, I mean, maybe they have extra skills, or they have seen him and talked with him, and based on what they found in him, they're able to say so. But I don't know. But there's no psychiatrist who would listen to the things you've said and the things he has written down and would say he's mentally ill.
I mean, Professor Dofia.
Sorry, just a moment. Let me repeat. Yes.
Okay.
Let's differentiate being mentally ill and having mental well-being. They're two different things. So for mental well-being, he definitely is not having the best of it. But for mental illness, I don't see from where I'm sitting any evidence of mental illness. Of course, every Nigerian has been stressed. It affects our mental well-being. Every Nigerian has been buying a bit costlier than he should be buying. These things affect our mental well-being. But mental illness is something else. It's something more definite. Just like going to the hospital and the doctor tells you, oh, you are a bit overweight, you should lose some weight. You have a physical problem. Not necessarily that you are ill at the moment. So it's up to you now to take precautionary measures, lose weight, do all the things the doctor tells you to do. Then you can get back your physical health, well-being.
I mean, Prof, so you basically took the words out of my mouth, because I was going to say there's a difference between mental illness and mental well-being. And when it comes to the Nigerian public, our mental well-being as a people is something that I feel hasn't been addressed. It's not even being looked at. They keep calling us the happiest people on earth. We're forging along. We're rolling with the punches. But what's that doing to the mental health being? From your perspective, how should we be addressing the mental health well-being of the Nigerian at this moment?
Yeah, the mental well-being of Nigerians is really on a stretch. Even although many more people, well, definitely in people working in hospitals, we see that there are more people coming to hospitals with mental and behavioral disorders. There are many more people going to substance use disorders. All that is happening. So we know that the mental well-being of Nigerians is being stretched so much. And when you have things stretched like that, it's a problem. Let's remember that there's also physical well-being. There's also social well-being. And these three, mental well-being, social well-being, physical well-being, form the three pillars of health. If any of them is distorted, it puts a lot of stress on the other ones. When people have lost their social well-being, the things the guy wrote about are basically about social well-being. Yeah. Once the social well-being of Nigerians or of any people have been interfered with, there's a stress on the physical well-being. You have more physical illnesses, like people are going to have more peptic ulcer, more diabetes, almost every other physical health problem would be increased. Hypertension will be more, and also the mental well-being will be stressed. So the social well-being of Nigerians being distorted by the pressures and problems we're having is going to wreak havoc on other pillars that make up health.
But Prof, is that to say that can somebody who, even if mentally healthy, could someone whose mental well-being is challenged at a particular point in time not do what somebody who is not mentally well can do? For instance, in this case, we don't know. He may or may not have jumped. Did you hear me, Prof?
No, I didn't hear you.
I'm saying for someone who maybe not in the grade of mental health and somebody whose mental well-being is challenged at a particular point in time, can he not do what someone who is not mentally well can do? For instance, in this case, I'm saying he may or may not have jumped. Nobody knows.
He may or may not have done what? I didn't hear that last bit. He may or may not have done. Jumped. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we don't really, like I said, we need to know whether he has a mental illness or not. That's the first thing. We don't know. But all the steps he has taken shows he has an idea of what is happening. Okay. And we don't know how much stress he has been through in the last several days or weeks or months. You know, it took time to write down clear things which every Nigerian would identify with. So that's the core thing. So definitely his mental well-being we can question it. But then making a diagnosis of mental illness is not just exclusion of symptoms. It's something more positive than that. So a doctor, a psychiatrist, because he has the kind of publicity he has received now, he should be examined by an experienced psychiatrist, and a decision is made about his mental well-being, about whether he has a mental illness or not. Yes, but definitely from what we've seen, he's not having the best of mental well-being. I mean, how many of us in Nigeria are having that at the moment?
Exactly. I mean, I wanted to be able to come back to Mr. Olumuji to talk about this, because where is he now? I saw different stories in the news. Yeah, Josephine Ade says, that's the FCT PRO says he's in police custody. I'm seeing online he's arrested. Where is he?
Yes, you know, when we were able to rescue him yesterday, we had interaction with him one-on-one. He has no mental health issue at all. He was answering all our questions properly, you know, but we just noticed that...
No, maybe he came back to his senses at that point. He might have been mentally stressed to have climbed that place.
No, but what he tried to make us understood that yesterday is that he wants to let the government know what the generality.
Yeah, we get that. Where is he right now?
Presently, he's with the police. And why is he with the police? After the rescue, the emergency services did their normal procedures on him. And you know that under the criminal code, section 321, you know, 317, anyone that attempts suicide, you know, is liable to a punishment of 1 year. And you know, in the FCT...
So let me understand
this.
I'm coming. Wait, hold on, Mr. Olumuji, you hit the nail on the head.
Yes. Now...
Why are we arresting... Well, it's the law, isn't it? That's what the law... So if we're going to change that, we have to change the law, because it doesn't make sense
I want to explain something to you.
Someone who just tried to kill himself. Now, he should be getting treatment. Is he getting treatment right now?
I'm still coming to that. Now, the FCT operates the penal code. And under section 231 of the penal code, what he has done yesterday, because if you look at the note he put there, he said if he dies, that signifies that he could even jump down from there. So now the police will have to take him into custody, conduct their interview, while the Social Development Secretariat of the FCT are also on him to get every medical assistance he will need. So presently, he's with the police, and the Social Development Secretariat of the FCT have also gone to the police station to ensuring that they also carry out their medical check on him and making sure that they can see one or two things from him too.
You're nodding your head. Why?
I'm a bit worried from what I've heard.
Yes.
We've been told that he climbed, the pylon is over 100 meters. I can't remember the meters you mentioned. He sat there for like 3-4 hours. He now climbed down. The guy is clearly dehydrated from where I am. So anybody who said that he was I'm not even talking about mental health. I'm saying that the guy would have been so exhausted going all the way up there and sat there for some time, and the air current and things, that the guy is bloody dehydrated. And anybody saying that he is physically well, let's not even talk about mental illness. Someone who has done all that, climbed all the way, came down, and is being kept by the police overnight. I think whoever is in charge of that should answer questions. He should go straight to a hospital. He should be examined by the doctors. The guy is in no physical state for any of these things we are doing. It's so unfair that such a person, so people who have never gone to medical school are saying that he's healthy and is being kept in the police. Maybe I should ask, the police has told us recently that any person in an emergency situation, the first thing is to see a doctor. They even tell us that if you are shot or someone comes to your hospital bleeding and whatever, first thing is to make sure he's well. Then you report to the police. This is not what has happened in the FCT. Whether they are having penal code or whatever code, a person who has climbed that length of that height, sat there under the sun and the wind, came down, has no place to go to the police station. The first thing is he goes to the hospital, he's rehydrated, he's resuscitated. Well, I heard you use the word resuscitation and I smiled. So that's my point. He needs to be seen to be physically well, and the police station is not a place for him to go now.
Yes, Mr. Peter.
Yes. Now, can I come in? Prof, when we said he's in the custody of the police, let's take note that the police have their own medical facility too. And part of what was agreed was to go to the police medical facility. And that is what happened. That's why I use the word in police custody, because in their medical facility is still a police custody at that material point in time. And that is what the FCT Police Command did accordingly.
Because, I mean, the police custody in Nigeria is we know.
no, it's not
behind bars.
It's not behind bars. Nobody will keep such a person behind bars. And that's why the acting Director General of the FCT Emergency Agency insisted that this person must be handled professionally. And what professionally? This medical state must be ascertained. In fact, when he got down from that mast, the first thing we do is to provide him a meal. Because we asked him, are you hungry? He said, yes. And we took him in. He took a meal, took water before they now move him out of that environment.
But part of what Prof is saying here is for the people, NEMA, to have come to that conclusion, it was premature.
I will not be able to speak for them.
No, it's about processes.
Well, in your office,
processes,
you said you people checked him and you said he was okay.
Yeah,
who checked him? Who is the psychiatrist? Who is the medical doctor that checked him and said that he is okay?
No, when he got down from the mast, the first thing you do, you want to ask 1 or 2 questions.
Who is asking the questions?
The agencies there, the emergency team.
Were there doctors and psychiatrists present?
They were trained for that as emergency response.
All right, Prof, give us your concluding thoughts on this one. What we should be doing in this kind of case moving forward?
The core thing is, let's be sure the guy is well, he's healthy. Then we can find out whether he has any mental or behavioral disorders. I think that's where to go. And I'm happy again that this whole thing about catching everybody, I use the word catch, who has attempted suicide. It's such a barbaric law we had years ago. And the people we copied those laws from have moved forward, and we are still keeping laws that have long abandoned. Someone is sick. He's not able to take decisions. He can't even go to court and plead whether he's guilty or not. And we are making decision that he's sick. Sorry, we're making decision that he's committed a crime. The lawyers tell us clearly that for a crime to be committed, things are required, including a guilty mind and the action. So let's find out whether the person has a guilty mind, whether he's even able to take decision about guilt. Someone who is sick and has attempted suicide has no business with police or law or crime. We should find out, is he well? If he is well, then we can talk about crime later on. But the core thing is he well? And when he mentioned police clinic, I smiled, because even the teaching hospitals where all the things are supposed to be available, they are struggling to provide emergency services to people who don't have relations. So saying that he was the police clinic, I laugh. When you go to a police station, you need to go and buy a pen to write your own statement. Well, I'm not talking about FCT. Maybe they're better. You don't need to buy your own file and get your own paper and pen to open your case. So maybe in Abuja, things are a bit better. But generality of hospitals in the country, people are struggling. That's the point. Not just the patients going there. The hospitals themselves are struggling. So if it's better in Abuja, thank God, maybe it will spread to the rest of Nigeria later on.
But the thing is, Prof, mental health is a thing. I mean, it's an issue that we should take seriously, above all else. Definitely. So we should find a way to inculcate it into mainstream issues and procedures as well. Well, thank you very much indeed, Professor Owoido Dofia, Chief Consultant Psychiatrist, also Professor of Psychiatry, College of Medicine, University of Calabar, and also the immediate past Registrar, National Postgraduate Medical College. Otolumuji, security generally, the Command and Control Center, are they improving in terms of their work to ensure FCT residents are safe?
Definitely. Presently in the FCT, the Minister of FCT has always been hard on the security agencies to ensuring that every resident of FCT sleep well. And there's this operation going on now, Operation Dominating the Fringes, which are the border communities. And the Nigerian police is taking the lead on that. A lot of arrests of these criminal elements, the kidnappers and the rest, have been made in recent times. And that is why FCT is calm right now.
All right, so we have to thank you as well for coming on, Dr. Peter Olumuji, Secretary, Command and Control Center for the FCTA.